Did you ever wanted to create an AI chatbot that can not only understand what you're saying to it, but also talk back to you in real human voice? Just imagine the practical business application where you have a customer support bot where the clients can talk to it like a real person and not just boring text. And if that's any kind of interesting to you, let me show you now step by step how you can build something like that, even if you have no prior coding experience, and how to implement it into Telegram today. So let me show you how it looks and let's dive in. So now let me show you how it looks in Telegram. We just ask a question like, what's the number one way we can decrease customer churn? We send it out, it's going to be transcribed, we get a response, and the response is going to turn into a voice message.
Improving customer service quality is the number one way to decrease customer churn.
Now, can AI chatbots be used to increase customer service quality? We send it out, and the longer the response is, the longer it will also take to be responded to because we have to create the entire message.
Yes, AI chatbots can enhance customer service by providing instant responses, 24/7 availability, and personalized assistance.
And as you can see, that's the basic gist of it. And we can also change the voice to anything that we want, or even to clone our own voice, or even a brand ambassador to make it more personalized. And now let's dive in and let me show you step by step how we can build exactly that. So now let's create the bot. We first go into Telegram, we head over to the bot folder, and then we type /new bot, we choose a name, simple just voice bot, then we have to choose a unique username and it has to end in bot. So we save it, and then you can see we created the bot. We can click here, and this is the bot, and this is the name. We have to copy that. And we have to copy this. This is the API with which we can reach the bot. Now we have to head into Visual Code where we can create our backend. In VS Code, we just have to create two files. So I have to create a .env file and the bot.py file. In the .env file, we store all our API keys that we then can retrieve later to use. So we have to store the bot name that we copied, the bot token, and the 11 labs API key and the OpenAI key. The OpenAI key you can just get by going on openai.platform.usage, and then you get your API key there, and 11 labs, you just go on 11labs.io, create an account, and you can for free get also an API key. It's just very limited of how many tokens you can use. So you can't just spam it all day and make an unlimited amount of requests. But for the beginning, that's for free and it works very well. Then we add those in here, for example, like that. And then we save the file. But you have to add it like this, so with the parentheses, otherwise it will not work. So now let's get started. The first thing you need to do is create a virtual environment. We create virtual environments so we can contain our installments better and we can have a more organized work environment. And if you want to then later push it on a server, we don't have to install all the things we installed with other projects. For that, we just type in the terminal python /m venv venv. The venv in the last thing is just how you want to name it. Now that our virtual environment is created, we have to activate it. For this, we do the name of the virtual environment /scripts/ and we activate it. In that, we then have to install our requests and our packages. For this, we install OpenAI, 11 labs, requests, and Telegram. And then we wait until it's done. So now that our packages are installed, we can now go into our bot.py file and create the code itself. We can create our bot.py file and have the actual code itself. The first thing we need to do is we need to import our packages. So for that, we just do import OS, import OpenAI, all the Telegram packages, 11 labs, requests, and then we start the .env. We use the .env so we can just load the API keys that we stored in the env file. That's also the next thing we're going to do. Then we initialize our API clients, where we then basically just create a variable called OpenAI key. Then we do os.getEnv and then the name of the variable itself, so how you named it inside of your env file. And then we make the OpenAI client. Then we make OpenAI.OpenAI, and then we initialize it with the OpenAI key. The same thing we do for 11 labs. And then we have to get the token from our Telegram bot, and we have to change this to not the name of the bot, but the token that you copied, so the HTTP token, not the name itself. Then the next thing we have to do, we have to have a way. So when the bot gets any kind of message, we need to handle it. For the first, we make a normal text message, because you can also text the bot. You don't have to just send them an audio file. So with this, we handle incoming text messages. So if the bot sees we get a message, we then just take it out, and then we get a text, and we can use the text later. So that's what we return. Then for the next thing, we do the audio messages. So when we send in a voice note, we have to deal with that. For this, we have to wait until we get an audio file inside of Telegram, and then we copy this audio file. Then we create a path variable where we just create a new path, basically, because we need to store this audio file inside of our environment so we can use it later. So then we make this path, then we wait until something happens. Then we open the audio file itself with the path and create the file itself. And then we save this file, and we have the response created. Then the next thing is we need to transcribe this file. That's why we're saving it, because we need to take this saved file, we need to upload it into Whisper. Whisper is the transcription model of OpenAI, where we then set the file path, and then we send it out, and then we get a response back, which is just text of the transcription. And then this saved transcription test we can use later then to send to ChatGPT to give us a response, because we can't just send an audio file. We have to first transcribe it itself so it can work with text. And then we create the process and reply, because now we got messages in, but we now have to send them out again. With this, we first have to initialize our main function, so our brain of the operation, which is just a basic ChatGPT API response. For this, we set the response, then we initialize the OpenAI client. This is the thing we created beforehand, where we initialize it with the API key in the beginning. Then we choose the model. We take chat completions for this. We choose a model. You can choose anything. I just choose GPT-4. You can choose GPT-4o or Turbo or 3.5 if you want to save on money. And then we set a role. We set a content. In this example, is you're just an assistant who is about to answer the questions very short and precisely. If you don't say that, the audio messages might get very long. And you can also change this for any kind of business application you have. So if you have a roofing company, then you say like, oh, you're expert on roofing, and you give it some more context. And then we set the role of the user, and this we make the input text. And the input text is a function that we then later call. In the input text, we will then put in the transcription that we got from the audio file or any kind of chat message we got into Telegram. And then we get a GPT response. This response, it's a JSON object where we take the first thing, then the message, and then the content of the message. So we don't just get like tokens used and all that stuff, but just the text that we get back. Then we could just take this and send it back in Telegram as text, but that's boring. That's why we create the next part where we create the audio that we send back. So for this, we take the 11 Labs client, we just press generate, we put in the text. The text is anything that you send to 11 Labs that you want to turn into an audio file. In this part, it will be the GPT response, so the text that GPT gives us back. Then we choose the voice models. This is just a basic Chris one, but you can choose any kind. If you created your own, you name it, and then you can just put the name in, and then you can use it. And then we use the model that we want to choose. This is the best one they have. There's also a Turbo one, which is even faster if you care for like really like quick responses. And then we name the response file name, which is because we have to then create a file that we save, and then we can send it out. And then we save this audio to that file name. And then we await until something happens, and then we send out this message. And then the last thing is, this is just basic Telegram in Python. We create a function. We start it. It then says print running, so we know the bot is running. We build the app itself with the token, so the connection. And then we have the app, the handler, which is just a wait for something. So we wait for a text or we wait for voice, and then we send a response back. And that is how the entire thing itself works. And now let's run it and see how it works in action. For this, we just first have to go into our VNV that we activated, and then we type Python, the name of the application, so bot.py, and it starts itself. You can see running polling. Then we just put this to the side, and we open Telegram, we go to the bot folder, we open our bot itself, and we start the conversation. And you can see it initialize itself, it will send a start message, and we get our first message back.
Hello, how may I assist you today?
And then we can ask a question. So, why are apples fruit and not vegetables? Just like the first question that came to mind. And then we can see the audio is being created. We can see here it sends out and we get a response back.
Apples are fruits because they come from the flowering part of a plant and contain seeds, unlike vegetables that come from other parts such as roots, stems, and leaves.
And now you can play around with that. I'm also going to put the entire code inside the description so you don't have to build yourself if you don't want to. And this just gives you an idea of how you can implement something like that and use it in any kind of application. You could also improve it, make a better knowledge base, all those things are added with WhatsApp on a website. But this is just like the base function, and I hope it was valuable for you and you enjoyed. See you in the next one.